What's up, fam? All Clouded, episode 45, and man, this is probably the biggest video to date. I can't think of anything that's bigger than this because we have basically gotten like 2.5, 3 months progression in one swiperoo. Yes, that's right, fam. I too, like many others, devoed the wallet, took advantage of the Black Friday sales, but look, who cares? It is what it is. We did it. To be honest, if I knew I was gonna buy that many packs, I would have bought it at the start of my journey. I caved, but man, you can see it. I got Poison Swamp. That isn't a random perk. I got Smart Missiles. And what we can do is this run's going to end in like another 10 or 20 minutes. We'll catch the tail end of it. We'll sail the run out and we'll go around and do the round skis because there's a few things to go over. I didn't post last week. I had a Christmas do for work. And yeah, I just couldn't be bothered. I probably would have just rambled on for such a big change to, I don't know what we say, the trajectory of where we're going with the tower. I didn't want to do it when I was hungover and that. So let's do a loop around this run before it ends. So, claim. So here we are, wave 5600. We normally go like somewhere, you know, up to about 6,000. That's about an 8-hour run. We'll go around the tab. So this many damage. This many attack speed, the crit factor, the attack speed, that sort of stuff, it stays somewhat the same. The damage fluctuates. And like if we look at the ultimate weapon damage, this damage fluctuates by anywhere from like 400 to like say 600 Q, and that's mainly because even at 400 Q damage, I can still sail out to like the 8-hour run. I don't really need any more damage. So sometimes I just siphon coins off in order to pay for stuff, which is namely at the moment it's labs. Here's how these stats are looking. I did pick up an extra lock. We'll talk about that when we go around to cards, but I'll basically lock the bounce shot range just to try to prevent pushing the cubes out as much as possible. And I've kind of found somewhere between the 3 and 5 meters is good. But 4 meters, if we keep it just somewhere in the middle, I mean, we're talking marginal difference. I think it's more once we get into tier 14, when your orbs have got a battle condition against them and they're not doing the full damage, when we'll start trying to figure out what's the sweet zone for a lot of stuff. Defense tab, there's nothing much to talk about here. At the moment I'm doing 1.7. I did experiment between the last respec at 1.75. Again, we're talking marginal difference. Like if anything, the performance of the emulator or the cloud phone is going to make like a majority of the difference rather than these little minor tweaks. Because I am still suffering a bit from the random spike issues that we were talking about, to the point where if you look at my tower, I've got wings on. Now it's one of those situations where I was sitting there and like the runs were getting so inconsistent and some of them were ending so early, and I was just like, what the hell? Like the emulator or the cloud phone pauses, all of a sudden boom, everything hits me and I've just lost all of my defenses for glass cannon. So I just thought, you know what we'll do, we'll just chuck, you know, we'll take our destiny, we'll put the destiny in control of our own hands and we'll try to do something about it. So I end up just putting second wind on, and that's been a massive help as far as consistency. I actually do have a funny video of one of the tournaments when it was happening. I was actually live streaming it and I went back and I ended up screen recording it, and it was just so funny. Like it happened live on stream. It's like everything's going well, we're humming, and then all of a sudden just a slight pause and then boom, everything goes. What tab is this? So this is like the baseline of the coins per kill. It's like 65 point something rather. There it is, 65.48. So that's kind of the bottom figure with the BHD. And the BHD is just doing its work. Here's how my free ups are looking. Where are we? I still need to work on getting those rolls better. I've just been rolling heaps of other stuff at the moment, and we'll be able to look at that when we get around to it. And enemy level skips at 54%. I think they've been 54% for a while, and it's probably one of those things that we're going to push it a lot harder once we get to tier 14. Which, if I farm tier 14, I actually get the same amount of coins per hour. You know, it's basically exactly the same. I just don't quite have the CC, or the consistency isn't quite there yet. And I need to take advantage of intro sprint, which I don't have, but at some stage we're going to get up to it. And here's how the ultimate weapons are looking if you're interested. So the Chronofield's perma with the perk. Got the GT plus. You got a little coin counter now, fam. So what I'll do is I'll pause the vid there, and we'll sail the run out. Again, it's probably going to die at any moment now, and we'll be able to look over the run stats at the end. Alright, so that's us done and dusted. So that's about right, 5870, pretty standard. 1.24Q now. That's another pretty standard one. So just getting the GT plus. So I think I'm GT plus, so the unlock, and then a +1, so GT1 I suppose we call it. It gave me like a 30% jump in the coins. Absolutely unreal. So about 160 trill an hour, and that's up from, I can't remember where we're at. Just over 100 trill. Something like that. So 744, 158,000 cells. So 3 of these runs a day. What's that? We're about 450 cells. 450,000 cells. So that's plenty for keeping my labs at 4x. Here's the other stats. And now that we got the GT plus, the summon enemies is super important, and I have kept it still in sync in that. So stats, milestones. Actually, we'll go to stats. We should be able to see the milestones in there. So 162 lifetime, 37, almost 38k. We should be 38k after these tournament earnings. So that's a significant jump. I can't remember how many stones I think it cost us. We had to get the last 2 ultimate weapons. I can't remember how much it was, but I'm sure it was somewhere around 5,500 stones. It was enough that it was a ungodly amount. it was a crazy amount to do. And there was just like, I just could not be bothered saving. So we haven't saved any. We haven't earned any keys. I've been absolutely getting spanked in tourneys, eh? So here's our stats. So we've got no movement in the tier 19 and tier 18. To be honest though, I haven't really tried. We got 1,000 waves in tier 17. I was going to go for a milestone run for these two, and then I actually couldn't be bothered and then just went to stream. But it's definitely something that I should look at. Like if I look at tier 16. Is it tier 16? So it's 1,000, yeah. Look at tier 16. I mean, we should be able to get these. I don't know if we'll get the 2,000 waves though. 2,000 waves might be a bit much for me. Never know though, we might get lucky and what do you call it, in the perk selections. So, Tawny, look at this, bro. So close to losing. This is how much I've been getting absolutely smoked. So here's the history. So we're kind of on a roll around here, and then all of a sudden we're just taking a hard dip. And I can't really think of why. But look, it is what it is. If we was to get keys, what would we be looking at? About another 300 waves. Actually, I had a pretty cool chat last week. Yesterday, and going through this, when we did this tournament. So this thing, got some claims. So that's about it for the end of this event. Pretty sure. Now we go over to event shop. Look, I did actually buy these. I shouldn't have, but honestly, I just wanted to get, like, I think I did a purchase for, what do you call it? What did I purchase? I purchased the GT Plus 1. So I was just like, I could have just waited for, you know, whatever tournament and into that, and I was just so impatient. I was like, hell no, I'm just going to do that now. This is actually pretty cool looking themes. I haven't put this one on. And here's how Goldbot's looking. So Goldbot took a pretty nice buff with all the medals that were given from the Black Friday. So I think now I might just put might take this to like 41 seconds or something, and then just look to eventually finish out the bonus. These are really good medals. I don't end up getting the pass because, you know, Uncle Fuds, you got enough money for me. But 2 meter bot range. So I think that might be the second bot range relic I've missed out on now. Yeah, workshops. So this is how the workshop's looking now. I've taken this stuff off. I picked up an extra lock, and to be honest, for the price of how much an extra lock costs, and for how much that I feel it's probably potentially helped the farming runs in that, I actually wish that I picked it up sooner. So I'm kind of kicking myself in the nuts for that. The rest of these tabs are still the same. I've still got this at 450, I think. Yep, 450. Enhancements, no movement anywhere. I am actually, because we're earning about 3Q a day, I am looking to probably go for orb size. See what we can do with orb size. And here's how this tab's looking. So I need another 4Q to get that to 0.25. And that's just, again, I mentioned it multiple times, it's just for the respec. And then if we, at some stage when we look to move to tier 14, I want this at 1.2. And I think that should also give us, if we have an ancestral roll on the triangle module, that should give us a few percent in tournaments and that. So it actually makes enemy level skips, you know, somewhat worthwhile. I mean, it might only be 5% or 6%, but it all adds up. It all adds up in the end. Ultimate weapons. Here's what we want to look at. Boom. So, we've done it. We have done it. So this is probably where we get more into the theory crafting side of things. I'll take this to the GT. Where are we? I think I click on that. Is this where we find it? Golden Tower bonus. Is this the GT Plus? Oh no, this is from Labs. How do we view it? Do we click that? Oh, there you go. That's how you view it. Hey, look, a little bit new to this whole Ultimate Weapon Plus thing. So yeah, I got one click in it. Now, for the duration that I have with MVN, I'm at 50-second duration. Now, when I looked at the timetable and where you go as far as rolling and stuff, you know, and how much duration versus how much bonus, I'm pretty comfortable to get this up to level 6, and I'm pretty sure that's about right. But, and it's kind of really strange because I'm actually going to go a different route. So probably the more logical route is to get the extra 5 levels in this before I pivot off, but I'm actually just going to switch things up. So here's what I need to do. So the idea is to go to, we'll just call it RO, Reverse Orb Devo. Now there's a few things that I need, And some of it, for the most part, you don't really need a bunch of this stuff. I mean, I've kind of proven it with what I've been doing with the hoarding with Space Displacer. It's kind of like a poor man's compensation for a reverse orb devo. But here's a few things that I need to do. So, Chronofield, we'll start here. So, ideally, we're going to have a max slow. So this will be at 75. And then ideally, we're going to unlock this. And we want to take it up to like level 3 or level 4. I've seen people do it with level 3, I've seen people do it with level 4. Where I've seen people do it with level 6 to 8. All sorts of things. It's just crowd control at the end of the day. So that's something that I need to do. We need to take this duration up to 59 seconds. And then we need to take this bottom one, I think, to level 9, I think. And on top of that, Death Wave over here, we need to drop this down by 2 clicks. Now, this is a whole bunch of gobbledygook. Now, if you do the maths, I haven't even done the full maths, but basically, we're looking at probably, at the rate that I'm going with tournament earnings, tournament earnings, we're probably looking at realistically like 3 months of progression here. So now the question is, for the conversion to reverse orb devo, what is the best strat there too? And we still got assist mods and stuff that we have to do, and we still got masteries as well that are going to throw a spanner in the works. So probably logically it would be something like, we'll do the econ side of things, so we'll do this, and then we'll do this, and then we'll come back to bring in the CC, and then that'll be like the full conversion. But I'm actually going to go a different route. So first I'll probably explain why the 59 seconds. So that's probably a good starting point. So if I sit there in a run, we'll do it like this. So if I go into a run, I currently have a 50-second duration. So I'm currently at 50-second duration, and then I've got a 65-second sync. So if you keep that in mind. So here we go. We shoot things off. We blast away. And then what we're looking at is the counter. So if I get a hoarded stack, the way, as far as, like, I couldn't quite figure out what was going on. Like, I'd create like a big hoard, and then the GT would activate, the coin counter would start, but yet if you're looking at it, it says 0 for a bit there, and then now it starts initiating. Now after looking at on the net, I was wondering if there's like some sort of lag or something, and then after looking up, and I think I might have found the answer, like I went on Google and I think I might have found the answer on Reddit, and then apparently the way that it works is that anything that's on the screen, so we'll just say, for example, we'll say these two here, these two are on the screen before the GT activation, then they're not counted into the counter. So watch it again, and watch the rate that it's clocking up. So we've got this hoarded stack out here, says there's 0, and then as the new stuff's feeding in, and a majority of it's coming from the summon that's over here, then it's counting towards the GT counter. So what's very common, and it's just even from an econ standpoint in general, what's very common is people go for a 59-second sync. So if I take, Where's Deathwave? If I take this down by 2 clicks, that gives me, I think, a 58-second sync. And I should be able to, I don't think I butchered the labs, so I should be able to take the golden bot down to a 58-second sync, no problems. What's that? 116 seconds. This is 116 seconds for summon, which I should have no problem doing. And then we take the GT duration to 59 seconds. And we do it at 59 seconds so that we're 1 second past the change in the, what do you call it? The GT activation. And apparently it does something as far as helping with the hoarded stack. I'm not sure because I'm not at that point yet. But this is just like stuff that I've been reading and, you know, from videos and all this sort of carry on. So, yeah, this goes back to those are the 3 things that I need to work on for my conversion. Deathwave, CF for better crowd control, and GT. And then it's like, well, what's the best thing to do first? The easiest thing would probably be pick up some comfortable levels in the GT Plus, swing around, drop the cooldowns, change my sync, and then rotate back to CF. But I'm actually going to do it differently. I'm going to do this is number 1, and then I'm going to do this is number 2, and then I'm going to do the sync time as number 3. And the main reason for that is I feel like having a somewhat okay chrono field, so maximum slow, maybe even a true perma if we feel like doing that, but at a minimum like 4 levels into CF plus, I feel like this is now just standard for people that, you know, are kind of consistently hanging out in Legends tournaments and that. So if it's going to help me in the conversion in my farming, like, I can do it without the 58-second sync. I can do it without the levels in GT Plus. And I'm talking about moving into tier 14. I can do all of that without those. It's just less optimal. But one thing that I really need is I need that CF. So that's kind of my theory in doing it. Now, whether it's right or wrong, I'm not sure. Whether I'm going to be missing out because, you know, there's probably like, what are we talking? I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks at least worth of stones that I'm going to put into CF, and that's 4 to 5 weeks that I'm not putting it into anything else, or I'm not picking up any masteries or anything. So whether it's right or wrong, I think it's just one of those is what it is situations, and that's kind of the route that I want to go. So there's the theory craft behind the decision. Now, one of the funniest comments that I got, somebody did a rewatch on the stream that I did last night, and one of the funniest comments was somebody saying, congratulations on unlocking GT Plus, you can finally start playing the game. And like, honestly, that's what it feels like. Like, it feels like there's just this Mount Everest to pass, and like, until I pass that, where it opens my account up to various tools, it just felt like I wasn't playing the game. it's a weird explanation, but it was probably like the best summary. Now you can finally start playing it's kind of like a welcome, my brother. Yeah, absolutely unreal. But that's as far as the progression path that we're gonna do, and it's taken a lot. Like, look, it's like 360 for a click. It's taken a lot of self-control to just not do it, and somewhere in there we'll probably have to give Black Hole a little bit of love in that. There's basically millions of things that we have to do, and we still have to try to double back to assist mods and give that stuff some love. So that's as far as the ultimate weapons in the workshop's looking. Guild season, I didn't even realize, but we get a new guild season soon. So 22 hours. What's the time in my country? It is 2 p.m. 2 in the afternoon. So at about lunchtime tomorrow for me, somewhere around there, we're going to get a new season, which is absolutely sick. I actually can't remember what season we're on at the moment, or what season we're about to get. So are we about to get season 5? Not really sure. But the crew, absolutely holding it down. I've got probably like one of the most solid crews out there. Maybe I'm just biased. All my homies. Here's how summons looking. Still the same, unchanged. So this will be easy to get it down to match him with the 58-second sync. Because what's that? 116 seconds, is it? Is it 116 seconds? So really, that's only like 14 clicks in that, because I'm pretty sure it goes down by a second. So it should be super cheap to get that. And here's fetch. I haven't followed a path. I don't really care to. And just do it for whatever it is. Store like everybody else, bought out. What I'm super excited for the new season is the first thing I always look at is straight away to the relics to see if there's something crazy. And like, these are pretty good, 5%. This is pretty good for a lot of players. But I always like looking at the menus, the background, and the banner. I reckon that's the coolest thing. Like, look at it. It'd be cool if we could get these colours up here changed too, but, you know, at that point I think I'm just being fussy if I'm, you know, definitely not moaning about it. I'm just saying. So, we went over workshop. Bro, how cool, bro. Honestly. I was so stoked. Like, I swear, when I got GT Plus, so I like got it at like 6 in the morning. I swear I stared at the whole entire 8-hour run. Like, no word of a lie. And then the next day, so went out, partied, everything like that. And then went out the next day, and I swear I did it again. I was just staring at it like full-blown fizzing. So, cards. So, with the gems that we got from the packs, we picked up another card slot. Now, I found out last night that there's only 2 more that you can purchase. So this one's 7,500 stones, and the next one's 8,500. Now after that, that's us. There is no more ways to get more card slots, except for purely from keys, which, bro, honestly, really sucks. Because now I don't know what I'm supposed to run. Like, I'll have to start getting to stage where I have to start compromising. I'll have to start subbing out the nice to haves. Now here's a good example of subbing out stuff that's nice to haves. So we're having the issues with the lag, freezes, boomfa, we die, that sort of carry on. I think I've been going on about it for the last couple of weeks. And I subbed out energy net and I put in second wind. And it made a massive difference as far as the consistency of my runs, just to like fend off those random lag spikes, because I was having runs in like 2,000 waves early, 3,000 waves early. Not all the time, but it was happening, and it was super annoying. So we'll have to just adjust and tweak things as we go to compensate for not having the card slots in that. And the reason why we're so, mindful of the card slots, and that's purely for masteries. Like, ideally, I want this. I want this. Super Tower, Demon Mode mastery. And I also want this. This will be the next mastery that I pick up. Like, that'll help in tourney runs. Just for helping in stream, just like boosting through the tournament and that. But mainly, that's going to be one of the key tools that we're going to need as far as progressing into tier 14. And I kind of figure if it's going to take me, you know, a month or two to get CF online, it'll be a month or two, like, for me to get the last 2 card slots. But then if we get interest spin in 1, and we can only get 1 more card slot, we're going to have to look to tossing up between like these 2, like as far as the mastery goes. And then you start looking at what we can sub out. So we start getting into that nitty gritty part of the game. And as far as like optimizing the card slots that we have, like, do we drop crit chance? Like, it takes me down to 98%, but I'm not killing with bullets anyway, like, or landmines aren't over trimming, like all this sort of stuff. So it's like I probably don't need the crit chance, so I could probably sacrifice it. And then I want cash mastery. Where is it? I want the cash mastery. But I really need that card slot, like, at the moment for ultimate crit. Like, there's all these things that I'm going to have to juggle in and figure out. As far as the masteries go, we have got 1 level to go in this now. We're on our last level. And that's been super helpful as far as shards go. We're also only got a couple levels left in this. So I'm going to max this out. I'm going to double back. And I come back for this and max it out, which I'm pretty sure at max labs it's like 5x, so we'll get an extra 2x damage, which is going to be pretty huge. So that's as far as cards and masteries go. For moddies, module levels are looking pretty good. Like, look at this, 183. So at 183 at a 1 star it goes 1.9 x, which is pretty sick. Now, what have we been rolling on? I don't think we've rolled anything on our main mods. I think we have rolled on this. I may have mentioned in the last video, or actually may have mentioned in stream. I rolled Spotlight bonus on this, and that is because if I put Ohm Chip on, it's a good little buff for fending off bosses, and just a little bit of extra chain quant. You guys know the reason why. I don't think I've rolled anything in this. I don't think I'm going to either. I'm just going to leave it there. Amp Strike, I tried getting super crit and just haven't managed to get it. So, look, it is what it is. And then this one here, I still need to roll these. But you can see I have been burning through reroll shards. So what have I been rolling on? So I rolled on this. And the reason why is for the 15% speed reduction and the 10% duration. And I actually used it in the last 2 tournaments, because the typical setup that I'd run with like DC and Ohm Chip, I actually got a lot less waves. So having that extra buff to the CF made a hell of a lot of difference, even though the unique effect is doing pretty much bugger all. So just running a setup like this with DC as the assist actually performed really well. Something else that I think we got that I'm not sure if we did in the last video is actually Harvester. So we got this at Ancestral. We got this at Ancestral on our quest to pick up the last DC. So yeah, that's another one for the books. And I think I mentioned last time we got the AD. As far as how assists are going, absolutely untouched, and I can't wait to get to that stage. I'm just trying to stay focused at the moment and get what I need to get. So that's how modules are looking. Unfortunately, yeah, they'll be untouched for some time. For the labs, so because we got Poison Swamp and because we got Smart Missiles, I've just been doing some of the labs, and look, it's one of those things where I'm not going to invest stones, or I've got other priorities for the longest time before Smart Missile, before Poison Swamp. That labbing anything for them is absolutely meaningless somewhat, but I'm doing it for some of the reason, like for example, I'm going to max the radius and I'm going to max the Spotlight missile lab, the cooldown, purely just for the visual effect. I think it just looks cool. Like, look at the little blue circles, boom boom boom. It just helps to visually break some of the red and the purple spam that's going on. So that's purely purely just for the visual effect. I'm doing it, and I've got no intention of investing any stones into it anytime soon. The poison swamp actually does help a bit. So even at unlock, it is, what's the cooldown? So it's 30-second up, 2 minutes down. So it's running roughly 25% of the time. But every now and then, just its uptime, it'll catch a boss or something like that. And then it'll apply a stun. So, you know, it's not very helpful, but every now and then it's helpful. And there's probably better things I could lab. It's just like, hey, it's the new toy, I want to lab it. We're going to max out the wave accelerator mastery. I only got finished off this level and I think one more level. We've almost finished and maxed out the rare package mastery, which is super cool. And lab coin discounts at level 87. So we could go to the history. It's the 7th. So we're actually like way back here. Whoa. This is the 23rd, the last time I posted? Wow. Okay, I'm gonna go like this. And you guys can just pause it if you're interested. So you can see when we unlock. Oh, and then I did the second win recharge. So I maxed out the lab for that. And again, this just goes back to having it in its uptime. And it actually helps in tier 14 with fleets. Because it's already up by the time any fleets spawn. And then if a fleet kills me, it just nukes them anyway. It's cheese as. So it's like fleets aren't even really a problem. It's the rest of the mobs as far as making it viable. And then I think in like the other tiers as well, people have like auto demon mode, and there's like auto nuke and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, you can cheese them in those earlier tiers when it spawns. It's more once you get into the bit higher tiers and they spawn more frequently that you probably actually have a bit more of a plan. So this is where I'm like doing a bit of the swamp stun, and there's a lot of labs for poison swamp. So if poison swamp is something that you're actually going to invest thousands of stones into, yeah man, there's a lot of labs for it. You can see all the smart missile stuff. So that's that. So that's us for the week. Boom, lads. Probably one of the biggest weeks. Honestly, absolutely crazy. Oh, biggest 2 weeks. Here's what my coin multiplier's at. This is what I'm farming at. 1400. And we're still sailing out. So, yeah, that's what I need to do. I'm beginning the transition. I can finally start playing the game. I'm beginning the transition to reverse orb devo. So if you keep following in that, you'll see the decisions that I make. If I make any mistakes, then you can see, because I think like a lot of the other guys that converted, like if you weren't close to them in voice channels, you know, and I mean as far as as far as like the other guys on YouTube and that made that transition, if you weren't close to them and you weren't following in the voice channels, or you know, a lot of the stuff, the jumps were so fast in the conversion that you know, there might be stuff that I suppose if you were looking to do the conversion at some stage that you may have missed, as far as when it comes to like some of the steps in there, even though like Jay Plays has got a video out of that, but you guys will be able to see it in live time. You guys will be able to see the direction that I make. And then if you get to the stage where you're going to eventually move out, because there's actually a number of people that I've been talking to that have gone for the space displacer setup, like what I'm doing, just like the Pool Man's reverse orb devo. But yeah, once you get to doing a, you know, more of the meta version of a reverse orb devo, you'll be able to see the path that I take, decide if that's the path you want to take, because there's basically a bunch of prerequisites to the build to make it work. Just like there is for Orb Devo, just like there is for Wall Devo, you know, all these other sorts of builds. There's a few things, there's stuff that you can go around the edges with or under invest in, but at the end of the day there's a few hard lines and prerequisites that you have to do at a minimum to make it work. So that's us. I look forward to next week, because if we look at the stones, we got 600 stones, we got this tournament's winning, we got the midweek's winning, then I'll finally get that maximum slow, and then we can start the progress of going for CF plus. Bro, that sounds so unreal to say. Absolutely crazy. So if you like what you see, you know the drill, fam. Like, comment, share and subscribe. Hit the notification button so you can see when the next video is coming out. And as always, keep it cloudy, fam.